Hi, every pony. This is Super Trampoline. I moved. I'm in the room next door. Had to move my piano and everything because of water damage because of a leaky aircon unit. So yeah, that happened. You can see the piano behind me. Unfortunately, no longer set up because I now have a lot less space. But enough about me. Let's do some story reviews, huh? I've been doing some reading, and I have some stories to review. So let's see. Let's look at ready for review stories. Alright. So these goes backwards in order from most recently read to less recently read, so we'll see how well I remember each one. Fun in the Summit by FrontSevens. Now, I believe I met FrontSevens at BronyCon. I don't remember, but I think I did. And they had... I think he was a he, had several quite successful stories. The one I'm read today, Fun in the Summit, is basically about Celestia dicking around and during trade negotiations and Rarity helping her. And Celestia brings Rarity along sort of as a wild card just to mix things up, and it's enjoyable enough. There's a few parts I didn't like, particularly Celestia gets kind of angsty at one point. But, yeah, Celestia has fun just being a dick. But not, like, in a jerky way, in a silly Trollestia way. So, yeah, Fun in the Sun by FrontSevens. Good story. You should read it. It's 7,600 words long. And, next we have Broken by Mark. Did this guy just change his name? Hold on. Yeah. I think he just changed his name. Like, yesterday. Anyway, Broken is by Mark Garg von Herbalist. And, basically... Tempest, Shadow, and Pinkie Pie both have had a very bad night, and they run into each other while moping about Ponyville. And what follows is some very deep psychological and philosophical discussions between them, and Pinkie Pie trying to cheer up Tempest, and Tempest trying to psychoanalyze Pinkie, and Twilight Sparkle spying on them the whole time before showing up late in the third act. And sometimes it goes on a bit long with the mopiness, but overall a very good story with some very good character interaction between Best Pony, Pinkie Pie, and another great pony, Tempest Shadow. And Mark really nails their characteristics very well. So I have to recommend it. It's a bit longer, at 25,000 words long, but doesn't overstay its welcome, and it doesn't feel too short either. So I recommend Broken by Mark Garg von Herbalist. Alright, next we have The Rude Gesture, an Equestrian History by SoundOfImpact. So this was SoundOfImpact's first story, and it's very good for a first story. It has 79 upvotes, no downvotes, and there's good reason. Basically, Twilight Sparkle accidentally imports the middle finger into equestrian culture, except it's more like a hoof. So I guess it'd be kind of like going like this to someone. And soon it spreads, and everyone associates it with Twilight Sparkle, and it's pretty funny to watch it spread. But what's really interesting is that SoundOfImpact works in some nice world building and character study into this. So it's a comedy, but it also has some nice, well, like I said, character building and world building. So I recommend The Rude Gesture in Equestrian History. It clocks in at 4,000 words, and it's pretty good. Now, here's a story that could use a little more love, also by SoundOfImpact. Seven Thunders. So basically, Twilight accidentally travels sideways in time and meets this unicorn named Horner, who's extremely eccentric and an alcoholic, and he's just all over the place, and she's trying to get some answers from him on what exactly happened when she completed his old spell. And yeah, it's good. It's 9,000 words long, and Sound of Impact uses those 9,000 words quite well to tell a riveting story. And great job with Twilight's characterization and Horner's characterization. And yeah, good story. Seven Thunders by Sound of Impact. Could use a bit more love. It hasn't even reached the 10 vote barrier yet, so go read that. Alright, next we have Dateline, Toyline by Estee. So basically this is about some ponies who win the manufacturing rights for making the main 6 toys, like little blind bag style toys, but they keep running into problem and hassle after problem, and it's a humorous comedy of errors as they keep on not being able to do things quite right. And yeah, it's a fun story that surprisingly for ST is very short, 1,300 words long, so it won't take you long to read. And yeah, I recommend it. Dateline, Toyline by Estee. Alright, next we have Bat Ponies Aren't Real. So basically, Luna tells Cadence that bat ponies aren't real. And the story is basically a headcanon info dump. And as a bat pony, I am offended that Luna would think bat ponies aren't real. But the bigger problem is the story just I didn't find that interesting. Apparently some other people did, but to me it was just kind of boring. Luna just sort of talks about bat ponies in a non-interesting way. So sorry, Ice Star, I don't mean to be an ass, but I didn't get a lot out of this one. So but maybe you will. Go ahead, you're welcome to give it a try. Bat Ponies Aren't Real by Ice Star, 2,500 words long. Alright, next we have Mongolian Horse Friction by Admiral Biscuit. Now, Admiral Biscuit came up to me at BronyCon and asked, who's the king of slice of life? And I told him, and he was like, damn right I am, or something like that. But, basically, in this story, Tree Hugger's really high, and you want to get high on you're a human living in Ponyville, and you want to get high on whatever she's on. So you go with Cloud Chaser to gather some of the ganja. But how the ganja is gathered is very unique, interesting, and apparently happens in the real world in parts of Kazakhstan, I think. And I won't tell more about what the process entails, but it's very funny. And I had the teeniest of tiniest of bits helping with this story. Not really. Admiral Biscuit asked me for help, and I was like, whoa. But yeah, Mongolian Horse Friction by Admiral Biscuit. Go read it. It's only 2,000 words long. Alright, so Aquaman is one of those people who I have a bunch of stories on my read it later list, but had never actually read a story of. So I finally bit the bullet, but it was a very tasty bullet because he's a good writer, and read Rainbow Dash explains to all her friends what Updog is. So those who don't know, Updog is one of my favorite jokes. And basically you keep asking someone about Updog until eventually they flustered say, "What's Updog?" And you say, "Not much. What's up with you?" It's really stupid, but really funny. So, Rainbow Dash tries that, but it doesn't work almost at all. And so she just gets increasingly flustered trying to get each of her friends to fall for the joke. And, yeah, I enjoyed it. It's fun, it's funny, it's stupid, it's silly. And I'm glad I read it. So that's 3,300 words of Rainbow Dash trying to explain what Updog is. By Aquaman. Yeah. Alright, Cold Comfort by EbonQuill. Sonata gives Arya a tarot reading as best she can. It's a short story about Sonata giving Arya a tarot reading, and it's pretty funny. Just Sonata is being very silly about the whole thing, and Arya's just like very reluctantly going along with it. It's not long, it's 1,300 words long, so it doesn't overstay its welcome, and if you want just some short, fluffy fun, then you could do worse to read this story about Sonata giving Arya a tarot reading. So that's Cold Comfort by EbonQuill. Alright, Chuckling Over My Cheery-Os by chrumsum. So chrumsum used to be Chromosome, and Chromosome wrote some important dark human story, but also wrote White Box, which is a really creative story you should definitely read. But became kind of a legend and then disappeared. And then now they are back after 3 or 4 years of non-existence, and they come back with this romping story, Chuckling Over My Cheerios. It's 4,400 words long, and basically Pinkie Pie tries to eat her favorite cereal, but she can't find it, and she eats Cheerios instead, but she finds Cheerios really nasty, and it's just a real fun romp into the brain of Pinkie Pie, best pony. And this is quite a return to form for someone who has gone for so long and now is back. So I highly recommend this story. If I had to compare it to something, I'd compare it to Pinkie Pie Watches Paint Dry, but a little more lively. And yeah, good story. And I've been rambling for a bit, so I think I'm going to call that a day. Have a great day, everyone.